So the next thing on the agenda here, and it's sort of close to my heart. So let me start off. Outside of our city council, commissions, staff, and civic leaders, we have some outstanding members of the community who do great things without ever expecting any recognition. In 2018, I think Mr. Rogers initiated this, so thank you, Peter. We began the tradition of honoring what we now call unsung heroes. So every year, each city council member is invited to nominate an individual for this honor. First, I'd like to invite my honoree, a friend of mine, Susan Pierce, to join me on the stage. Come on up, Susan. Right there. Thank you, Susan. Susan Pierce is the president and founder of the Red Bucket Equine Rescue located in Chino Hills. She has been an advocate for rescuing horses for many years. In 2008, she found several neglected and abandoned horses and wanted to provide these horses with a loving forever home. Red Bucket is a Chino Hills-based nonprofit organization that rescues slaughter-bound, starving, traumatized equine, and she actually rehabs them to find their forever home. Susan is a leader in the field of equine welfare and has dedicated her life to saving and serving high-risk horses. She provides the leadership to create sustainable model for rescues for the future and change the pattern for rescue horses. Under her leadership, Red Bucket carefully watches adopters with horses and provides them extensive preparation, including free coaching and riding lessons and field support. Susan's rescue work extends beyond the boundaries of Red Bucket Equine Rescue. She also participates in the national rescue efforts, counsels with individuals wanting to surrender horses, provides coaching and support to other rescues. Susan, congratulations. You made an impact on our community and all the lives of the horses that you have saved. Would you like to say anything?
Oh, thank you, Ray. Well, firstly, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, and our wonderful councilmen and women, and our community. It was wonderful walking in tonight to see so many faces, faces who have come to Red Bucket, many who have been wonderful neighbors and contributed and supported our life-saving work. Tonight is especially exciting because it was exactly 10 years ago today that we closed on our mortgage and our escrow. And so we've been members of this community for exactly 10 years tomorrow. So thank you all for embracing us, and I'm very grateful to be a part of this wonderful community and have our mayor and council who support us. So thank you.
Come on here, Susan. I got a plaque for you. Oh, sorry. On behalf of the City Council of the City of Chino Hills, we have a plaque for you.
Oh,
There you go. So, can you take a picture over in a minute? Thank you, Susan. Next, I'd like to invite Mr. Vice Mayor Peter Rogers up to the stage to recognize his unsung hero. Jane Defranc, could you please come up here and join us?
Good job.
I've known Jane for many years, and I'm afraid of her, so when she comes by.
Yeah, he steps back. I used to be afraid of her, but no longer. So Jane, this is a great opportunity. I love this program because a lot of people that are in the press often get the notoriety in town, but there are so many individuals that do so many things for the community. You don't hear about them other than their own little pod of whatever their volunteerism is. So I think this is a great program to highlight some of the individuals that just don't get the press. So thank you, Ray, for introducing. Jane and her husband have been married for 37 years. George Defranc right here. And have been residents for in the same length of time, correct? A little bit longer. A little bit longer? Okay. So Jane has been a longtime volunteer for many community organizations. She is currently serving the second year of her term as president of the Chino Hills 55 Plus Club and was formerly vice president of the club for many years. As part of this club, she began attending veteran subgroups meetings and to support her husband, George, and assist with fundraising for the creation of the city's military service monument project right outside here. Thanks to her efforts of organizing two of the largest fundraisers, this project was very successful. So thank you for your contributions on behalf of that arm of the 55 Plus Club. She's also been a long-term volunteer with the Chino Hills Community Foundation, which we definitely appreciate. Anytime we need volunteers, both George and Jane step up, no matter what capacity with the foundation, whether it has to do with our Kids Art program, for Kids Art Exploration, as well as our home tour, spring and holiday home tours, and the annual wine walk, and when we jazz and blues festivals, and then now we do concerts right out here. So they're always stepping up to help. Jane, thank you for that. Jane is also currently on the Chino Valley YMCA board as a board member and has served as an instructor for our Chino Hills Active Adults program. A former board member of the Summit Ranch HOA, which I also used to be, and volunteers with our local monthly bingo organization that takes place at McCoy. As if all of this is not enough with her volunteerism, Jane is also the owner of two therapy dogs, Zara and Ziva, and has volunteered their time for over 10 years to the Therapy Dogs International program. And she trained the dogs herself. So thank you for contributions even beyond our borders. We're lucky to have you in our city. Thank you for all that you do for our community. So congratulations, Jane. Would you like to say something?
I just want to thank you, Vice Mayor Peter Rogers, and all of the council members, Mayor Marquez, for this honor. I feel this is just, when Peter told me that he had nominated me, I was speechless, literally speechless. And for those of you who know me, you know that's quite a feat, okay? But I do want to say thank you. I feel this is just an amazing honor, and I really appreciate the recognition. Thank you.
And Jane, I've got a plaque for you, signed by Ray and myself for Unsung Hero Program. Congratulations. Thank you. You are welcome.
These glasses
Would
on?
you borrow one? Wrong ones, I know.
Sorry, guys, I can't see without these. Now next, we'd like to ask Peter again. Come on up, Peter, thank you. And your the awardee actually is for Mr. Art Bennett, nominated Mr. George Defranc. Can you come up, George?
Come on up, George. I'm doing this on behalf of Councilmember Art Bennett, who was feeling a little bit ill this afternoon, so I said I'd take over, especially since I've known George for many years also. So we can't recognize one spouse without recognizing the other because they are both tremendous at stepping up to help, as I mentioned earlier. George, Ray, could you take your sunglasses here, please? Perfect, yeah. kind of like a blues brother type of thing developing here. George is a Vietnam vet who is involved, just as involved in the community as Jane is. Anyone who knows George would agree that he is always willing to lend a hand whenever called, and I can vouch for that because we put in a request for George's organizational skills on a regular basis with the foundation. He has been a member of the Chino Hills 55 Plus Club since its inception in 2013, and later joined the veteran subgroup in 2016, where he quickly became chair. He, along with other members of the group, were instrumental in fundraising for the design and construction of a military service monument here at the community center, which was mentioned a few moments ago. It's right outside. Thanks to their tireless efforts, they were able to raise $55,000 to create a permanent place of solitude and tribute to all those who have served or are currently serving in the United States Armed Forces. So let's first of all hear it for our armed forces. George also serves as bingo manager. Is that an actual title? Bingo manager? Okay. Volunteers regularly as our Chino Hills Community Relations or Community Foundation events, which I mentioned, and was former board president for the Summit Ranch HOA. Let's hear it from Summit Ranch HOA, Jen. Yay. George and Jane have one daughter together, Lisa, three granddaughters, and two great-granddaughters. And on behalf of Art Bennett, who is a veteran, he would like to congratulate you, George, on being named Community Hero in 2022. Would you like to say a few words? Sure.
I'd like to, first of all, thank Art Bennett for nominating me for this. It's a prestigious honor for me. I'd like to thank the City Council and for keeping our city as beautiful as it is. And I would also like to thank my wife, who has to put up with all my volunteering. And I'd also like to thank all the veterans who helped to get the monument up and the flags. Yeah. And that's it.
All right, thank you. On behalf of the Chino Hills City Council, welcome to the Unsung Hero Club. Thank you. You're welcome.
Next, I'd like to invite Mr. Brian Joes to join me as we recognize his awardee, Mr. Nick Montano. Come on up, Nick.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Everybody know who Nick is? Where do we recognize him from? There you go. Nick is the owner of Roscoe's Famous Deli here in Chino Hills, and he has a long track record of philanthropic endeavors. I know the reason why I initially thought of him was there isn't any charity, any case, anybody that needs a hand up that Nick isn't willing to step up and open up his restaurant to fundraise for, and never asks for any recognition. I was actually shocked he'd said yes, that he would actually come up here. And it's, this is the kind of business owner and the kind of person you want in our town. So now I got to get to the whereases. Nick has a long philanthropic track record and actively seeks out opportunities to sponsor events and support items throughout the community. In fact, if you read our local paper, The Champion, you'll often see all the different cases that he's raising. He survived the golf tournament that was last week, where he raised over $165,000 for Boys Republic. Cumulatively over the years. Sorry, no, you should do it every year. I'm trying to set you up, buddy.
I don't want rumors out.
Understood. Nick's also a very large supporter of the Let It Be Foundation, of course. One of our near and dear charities here in town. He hosts a number of fundraising nights, everything from fundraising for football teams to even Chino Valley Fire's Fill the Boot event annually. Families in need often come to Nick with those requests, and he's very generous with his time. I know a lot of us know our favorite little junior firefighter who's not so little anymore, right? And he always found a willing home at Roscoe's, and Nick made sure to help fundraise for the Ronald McDonald House when his family was going through cancer treatments. Nick and his wife Cheryl have lived in Chino Hills for over 20 years, and they've raised 2 children here. While they live in Chino, it's fine. We'll let them come across the city line. And I'm proud to present you with this award. So thank you for all that you do for our community. Give it to you. All right. Get a photo with you.
Nick, you want to say anything?
Oh, no. He's got it.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll speak after. Wow, I'll hold it for you.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Brian, Mayor, council people. I'm not going to bore you with a lot. I mean, as we sit in this room and see everything that goes on, there's so many people in the room that does more for the community than me. As a business owner, my wife and Cheryl, we live in the community for 20 years. We did move to Chino a couple years ago, but I wanted a little more land. I want to get a horse. But it's a wonderful community. I got a special thanks to Ed Graham. I know he was here somewhere. I don't know if he's still here. 15 years ago, he met with me and Jack. No, about 16 or 17 years ago, my partner down in Fullerton. And we said, what do you think about putting a little deli in Chino Hills over here? And he blessed it. And Ed, I think it was a good decision. What do you think? So I can't tell you about how many people come up to me in the community and had Roscoe's as part of their life and on a positive way, met their spouse, had kids, got married, whatever, all these other things. And some of the stuff we like to do, we don't like to talk about, but we definitely like to help from within. And it's special. It'll always be special, and I'm hoping we'll be here another 15 or 20, 30 years. I will come get the award, but thank you very much again.
Congratulations.
And Cheryl, also a big thank you. So thank you, Brian. Councilmember Cynthia Moran, please join me in front of the stage to help recognize your unsung hero, Patrick Kamamoto.
Certainly. Pat is making his way up. So our final unsung hero, and certainly not the least, come right here, my friend. So I think I'm going to go a little off script like some of my colleagues have done. The first time I heard the name Patrick Kamamoto was when Art Bennett called me to tell me that I had not been selected for Parks and Rec Commission, but that a gentleman by the name of Patrick Kamamoto had. And I'm like, who is this man? Who is this guy? And since then, it has evolved into a great friendship, and I've been able to lean on him for guidance and support, just like many of us in this room have, because he is a man of few words, but let me tell you, he knows his stuff. He is so knowledgeable when he was on our Parks and Rec Commission, and then most recently the Planning Commission. And he's the epitome of what this Unsung Hero Award is for, because he never asked for any recognition. And again, just like you were saying, Brian, I was hoping that Patrick would accept and come tonight. So now I'm gonna read the script. So he was a city commissioner for over a decade, and he was first appointed when you beat me out, in 2010, and during this time on Parks and Rec, you provided so much insight and input to our city parks, community events and programs, and me personally, when I was a newbie on council, I would come over to your house with a notebook like a nerd, and you would just give me all this information to help me understand how our park system worked and things like that. From 2019 to 21, he served on the Chino Hills Planning Commission. And then he's also a professional, he's a professional arborist. And then I'm gonna go off script again. So when he retired, he was the arborist for Disneyland, and he has so many neat stories to tell. If something happens with a tree at Disneyland, the next day, the same full-grown tree goes up. It's like not a little sproutling. It's like nothing ever dies at Disneyland, right? That's what you're telling me? Patrick and his lovely wife, Kathleen, who is also a dear friend, have lived in Chino Hills for 33 years. And together they have raised 2 children here in town and have 6 grandchildren. A lot of you may know both of them as avid volunteers at St. Paul the Apostle Catholic Church, whether it's donuts or at the Harvest Festival. It's like they will donate anywhere they are needed. Also, for 21 years, Patrick volunteered with the Boy Scouts of America, so some of you may know him in that role as a Scoutmaster and den leader of Troop 316 up until 2015. And also, too, he is a winemaker. What's the name of the winery again?
Riesling and Pinot Gris.
It's Three Dog Winery? Three Dog Winery. So, and they have shown it at LA County Fair and won awards. And for those of you that come to our council Christmas parties, he does a really phenomenal dessert. He's an amazing chef and baker. So all together, it's my great pleasure, Pat, to just give you this award. It's much deserved, and love you to bits. Here we go. Kathleen.
Hi, Pat asked me to speak for him. He wanted to say, Honorable Mayor and council members, thank you. His thanks to all the leaders in the city. He has very much enjoyed all of his years, which also helping with the Chino Hills Foundation, that's okay, with Scouts, with St. Paul the Apostle Church. Wanted to say thanks to Art Bennett for taking a chance on an inexperienced commissioner all those years ago, and thanks to Cynthia for this award. So thank you.